Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is a best of 3 series of Terran versus Protoss, where apparently the CEST decal has returned once more. Spawning right here in the bottom left, we're looking inside of the main base of Hero, and his opponent all the way in the top right, he goes by the name of GuMiho. Now I was wondering, right? What if you take two players that like to clown on opponents, right? What if you take two of them and you have them play a series against one another? If you have two clowns, does it become a circus? That is the question we will have to find out today. I think it probably takes a little bit more and possibly also a different matchup. Sadly for us, sadly for all the clown enjoyers out there, this is not really a matchup that gets a lot of creativity at the moment. I mean, obviously there's a lot of variety, but it's not like you're suddenly going to be able to bust out a battlecruiser as Terran. You can't really do like a, I don't know, a Dark Templar rush or a cannon rush or whatever here as Protoss. I highly doubt it, but we will never know. We will never know. Nexus here very quickly though on the low ground for Hero. Completely scoutless opener for the both of them. 20 Nexus, 20 Cybercore. Technically considered to be greedy. The main problem you run into is that you're not going to be able to get your units out in time if, say for example, this would be, I don't know, like a proxy barracks or even like a proxy factory. There's a lot of variety that you can accidentally die to here when you do take, well, first off, no scouting on the other side of the map and then a delayed Cybercore too. It's the norm to go for the 20 supply Nexus and the 20 supply Cybercore, but then usually you build up the Cybercore before the Nexus. Hero doing hero things here, being a little bit greedy, and it looks to me like he's gotten away with it once again. GuMiho going for also a no scout opener, but he's building the Cybercore, or the Cybercore, the CC. I mean, both of the structures are abbreviated to CC. He's building the command center right over here on top of the high ground, so at the very least he doesn't just immediately lose if the opponent were indeed to be proxying. It's also a sentry first here from Hero. Dude, I love watching Hero games. 20 supply Nexus, 20 supply Cybercore, scoutless sentry first. You basically die to any form of early game aggression. But if your opponent isn't doing that, well, you have a flying start right from the get-go. The truth be told, there's also a lot of Protoss players right now on the internet that think that they need a start like this against Terran. A lot of them don't really enjoy sometimes playing this sort of matchup, right? Even though, in general, Protoss has been enjoying a very strong mid-game lately. The rapid research of Psystorm in particular is something that a lot of the Protoss players have been enjoying, but there's always people out there that think they would always lose if they just play like a quote-unquote standard opener to like all of the different variety that Terran can throw their way. So Hallucinated Phoenix Scout is of course one of the main reasons to go for that quick sentry first. You can see everything that's going on. So this gives him all the information, right? Not only does he see a 1-1-1, but when you see all of this over here, it also automatically means that there is no third command center out there. And that is basically all you need to know at this point in time. Hero is going to be able to continuously scout though, and he's now hoping to maybe intercept the medevac drop that is coming across. He has stepped a little bit forward with some of these units. You have to be so cautious with this though. Even just the Cyclone alone can already tear this sort of party apart. He's trying to get a lock on, doesn't quite catch it. Oh yeah, the dancing will continue. Alright, in the meantime, medevac drop has arrived and it drops right behind the gas geyser. Careful with that sentry. Sentry dies immediately, a little bit overly ambitious on that one. Looks like we're all army hotkeying the Hallucinated Phoenix back home again too. Robo facility here on the back of a Twilight Council, so Blink is going to finish up here in just a couple seconds time. Looks like we're going to be building up a third Nexus off of 3 gateways, and it is going to allow the Protoss to continuously build up their economy whilst also having... Ooh, he didn't actually build it. Really? Oh, he's concerned about something. He has scouted something that he is not enjoying very much. And apparently we are delaying the third Nexus because of it. Yeah, he's doing this in favor of additional unit production. There is, however, a Terran army hiding behind the line of sight blocker. So that's what the tall grass over here is for. You can't see through it without having units on the other side. Now, Hero maybe trying to see if he can achieve something like that, although this could actually be quite of an annoying situation for him with his army being very disjointed. He's hoping to use that squad of units to pick up any reinforcing troops. There is a landed Viking, but it does get picked up inside of the medevac. I think you guys need to come back home ASAP. Nice attack right here by GuMiho, but also a very committed one. There are indeed multiple siege tanks available. Double Viking, though, working away at the shield battery. Keep in mind they deal additional damage to mechanical. Let's see. Do we blink in? I don't think so, dude. The Immortal is available. He does immediately snipe one of the two tanks. Medevac is going to be next. It looks like there is some split focus firing. Not as much control right here for GuMiho. GuMiho just trying to squeeze as much juice as he can. That one Immortal, though, really adding a lot of additional tankiness right here, right? Just an additional bit of bulk to this army. And I've got a feeling that those Marines also are not going home. Now, how are we following this up? Are we celebrating with a third Nexus? Well, not yet at the very least. He's planted down a Dark Shrine instead. Okay. Nexus will be building up now. Third Command Center also starts up right around the same time. We have a Templar Archives too, though, so it's going to be both types of Templar. In StarCraft 1, you used to be able to get both of those units out of one tech structure. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Stimpack, combat shields, +1 infantry attacks. Coming up right now here for the Gumi God. The Holy Trinity of Terran upgrades. Oh no, not this again. I casted a series recently where Hero did a very similar thing with a War Prism and 2 Immortals, and then he just immediately lost it. Don't lose the Prism with 2 Immortals inside of it this time, please. The goal is to try and snipe a siege tank or maybe even the tech labs, right? That's the idea behind this. If you can achieve that... Ooh, this is really good. Yeah, if you can achieve that goal, this is super annoying for the Terran player. Nicely done right here by Hero. There is a missile turret at the front, so the Dark Templar won't be able to sneak in, and, well, this time around he does micro the Prism. I believe that previous series was against Cure, and at the time he just sort of arrived in the main base of the opponent and then lost the Prism with the 2 Immortals inside of it, overcomplicating the entirety of the game because he was in such a phenomenal spot. This time around, though, he was quite a bit earlier with this push too. So it shows up at least it feels like it's a lot earlier. Maybe it's because of the early game aggression there from GuMiho. This time around, he shuts down the upgrade with relative ease. And obviously, as a Protoss, you never know whether or not it's the Stimpack or the combat shields that you sniped. But either way, either of the two is great. GuMiho wants to go for some sort of follow-up, right? But all of those follow-ups, as we have the Dark Templar, okay, picks up the siege tank. Trying his very best to just secure the third area here. He needs to get another base up very soon. But any timing attack that GuMiho wants to go for is going to hinge on that Stimpack research. Combat shields is also important, but not quite up to the same level. It would be really nice here if he didn't lose it. Because now what can you do here? Do you really move out with this army without Stimpack? Not really. Storm is going to be done plenty in time before Terran's follow-up goes across the map. And this is where Protoss players feel comfortable, you know? This is when you put your feet up. This is where you take all of your expansions. This is like Protoss at the end of like a long work week. They get to chill for a little bit because Storm is done. Well, you still need to be careful. But Storm is so nice. Storm is so powerful. Nice bit of micro here coming out of that Prism. How in the world do you salvage this, Gumi? I don't think you can go anywhere. As a matter of fact, Hero, despite being down in supply, decides to commit to a fight on the low ground. Reinforcing Terran units do show up, but storms are making it difficult for them to even really get into the fight. They spent the entirety of the engagement running away. Right now, though, they finally commit. Even though the High Templar have made it difficult, Hero also relied on those High Templar a little bit too much. Nice control there by the Gumi God, who strikes back immediately. He wants to go for the Nexus over here at the bottom of the map too. Nice Storm again, but, I mean, at this point, the Storm is going to be limited, mostly to the energy recharge ability. It's important to try and keep all of this going. Prism goes down, though. High Templar goes down, too. Reinforcing Terran units have used their Stimpaks as well, just to get across the map a little bit quicker. Immortals are dropping like flies, but so are the Marauders. A couple of Widow Mines just sort of walk in here. Can blink away to try and mitigate some of that damage. Nice micro there by Hero once again. Hero kept the Nexus alive, but he did have to pay the price for it. GuMiho, though, still in a pretty good spot. He starts up a Ghost Academy right now. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see like a 4th command center as well in a moment. Either that or he could double down on the aggression. Storm is so good that Hero kind of relied on the Storm a little bit too much right there in those previous engagements. It's like, I have Storm, I can never die, but also I don't have Storm anymore because I used all of it. Premature Storm is nothing to be ashamed of, okay? You just have to keep it in mind and consider it for future engagements. Looks like we have a Medevac sneaking around the side here. Thinking about maybe a Widowmine drop in the natural expansion of the Protoss player. Can actually kind of work with an anti-timing at this point. Maybe he just wanted to burrow them in locations where Protoss would be expanding to in just a moment. Zealot run by. In the meantime, on the right side of the map, trying to see if he can potentially move in. Double upgrades in the meantime, by the way, here for Hero, which I do quite like. Terran has not yet started up the 2-2, and that is something that can cost him quite dearly. He did make an armory. He had it on the production tab just now. Widowmine drop in the meantime down at the bottom. He really needs to fire up the 2-2 upgrades if he wants to continuously compete with this Protoss army, because he's still ahead in the supply count. But I think it's important to not fall behind with these upgrades, because 2-2 is such a big one. There's a Storm available again. Ay, 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 ay. Oof. Prism does die this time around. I don't know if it's really a cause for celebration, though. This Terran army is like, oh, ho, 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 it's 1 Storm away from death. Jeez, these guys escaped just barely. Maybe the army over here can actually still achieve something. GuMiho playing with fire. He did lose the engagement down at the bottom of the map, but these units have been on death's door for the last half minute, and they're still going at it. Counterattack now through the middle of the map, though, here by Hero. 4th command center is not yet done. It's a bit late. Oh, if GuMiho is forced to cancel it, that would be a disaster. Not quite enough army here, or maybe I should say not enough Storm here. Hero decides to just back up for the time being and maybe lean into that expansion at the bottom of the map instead. Terran army moves in. Looks like we have, by the way, some health again on that hit squad of units. GuMiho just runs forward right now, though, and this could actually deal quite a bit of damage. Cutting down this base at the bottom probably also means that the expansion right next to it will go down. GuMiho thinking about, well, having the cake and then eating it too, now decides to actually commit to nothing. Ugh. He wanted to have both of the bases, and because he was a little bit greedy, I don't think he's getting either of them, although maybe he can still gun down the one over here that's new. Yes, at the very least, something is achieved. He's also double expanding, though. Hero, that is. And another Nexus bites the dust. No cancel on that one. So that's 400 minerals down the drain. In the meantime, GuMiho is pushing back the Immortals here in the far bottom right. Okay, gets another kill on one of them. Man, he is so freaking aggressive with these Terran units. When you know the opponent is going Mass Storm, to be running around with low HP bio is kind of insane. But so far, GuMiho is making it work. Colossus production has started up. GuMiho, though, has never gone for additional upgrades, and that is something that really concerns me, because we have the +3 attack researching for Hero, and this Terran army is gonna get weaker over time. Now, of course, it doesn't matter if you can win the game right here, right now. One of the Immortals, or one of the Colossi, rather, gets targeted down. He does eventually achieve that job. Is there enough, though, for the Terran to properly break through? If he can kill another base, that would be awesome. In the meantime, there is a Zealot counterattack as well. Planetary Fortress all the way up north. Nexus down south does go down, but I think this is mostly justified with this counterattack here. Heroes sniping down 20 SCVs and maybe some more here too. I think it makes all of this okay-ish for Protoss. Look, all Hero needs to do is chill for a little bit, and lean into that upgrade advantage. I mean, the Colossus are gonna... The Colossi, the Archons, the High Templar, all of them are going to be difficult to kill here for a Terran army that's stuck at 1-1. And I think if he just sits here for a little while and almost like camps his base, he should be fine. It's a bit weird because as a Protoss now, you know that Terran has 4 bases, but you've also killed a lot of their SCVs whilst losing very few of your probes, but a lot of bases of your own. So it's a weird disjointed situation where GuMiho does have an extra base, but he is significantly behind in the worker count. I think GuMiho is reading this correctly though. He should not be giving Protoss any time to breathe. He moves up right now towards the high ground. Good EMP right there on the first of the High Templar. First of many, though, as they're all coming over in this direction. Another EMP does go down. Reinforcing units do show up. He's trying his best to dodge the storms. Nexus over here running dangerously low. All the High Templar have been dealt with. What about the main bulk of the Protoss army, though? The Colossi are still available, right? And they're properly upgraded, whereas this Terran Bio army is not. And I think GuMiho is paying the price. I think GuMiho is paying the price for never starting up additional engineering bay research. That fight was looking about as good as he could have microed it, but his upgrades are just not helping him out. Keep in mind, he's also still playing an early game composition with a few ghosts mixed in, whereas Hero, I mean, he has got all of the big, beefy units out for Protoss, and he does not really show any signs of slowing down. Command Center, though, moves on over to the top left. Likewise, there is a Nexus also building in a similar proximity. Drop in the main base now, though. Recall is going to be used, so I think Stalkers will show up. And, yep, they are going to make it pretty straightforward for that drop. What about the Widowmine drop over here? Oof. Could have been a disaster. Only 5 workers end up going down. So now we're dealing, as a Terran player, with 3-2 Protoss, with only 1-1 upgrades. It is a real problem. In straight-up engagements, the Protoss units will be tankier, and they will dish out more damage relatively to what they were doing a couple minutes ago. And already those main engagements were difficult for GuMiho. Vikings, though, working away right now at the Colossi. I quite like it. We haven't seen Vikings yet before this point. At least I don't think we've really had them in significant numbers, other than like the very early game when he did like a Viking timing attack. Storms, in the meantime, are once more blanketing the entirety of the Terran army here at the bottom. Energy recharge was used, by the way, on the shield battery. At this point in the game, I quite like it. Keeping those Colossi alive is actually a priority. Jimmy running away from a Stalker, but soon he's not going to have any more ways to run away. Planetary Fortress, though, is a really good anchor to fall back to. Is Hero brave enough to engage on top of the Planetary? Good EMP right there from GuMiho, so yeah, I don't think you can really fight here. Mass repair would be too much. Orbital Command, in the meantime, gets spotted. Important scout right there for our Protoss. GuMiho does not really know much about the far bottom right, but lucky for him, there are no additional Protoss bases in that section of the map. Still no upgrades. GuMiho is effectively trying to max out. And it's fizzling out, right? Like, that's the problem. If we were to, like, graph the strength of the Terran army over time, it peaked, like, 8 minutes ago, and it's been downhill ever since. And even though he's been making it work, Hero is still continuously improving his units. Now, he never started up the +3 armor. Dark Shrine is actually unpowered inside of the main base, and it looks like a Templar Archives need to be rebuilt. But I think Hero chilling here, making a large unit composition, is the right call. Let's see, though. The fight is going to be all deciding. EMPs can change the tide of battle still. There's not that many Templar. Only 4 of them in total, somewhere on the map. But I think there's only 1 inside of the prism here. This Protoss army, though, is looking so incredibly lethal, and there is a storm out. More High Templar are showing up. The Colossi are just shooting lasers from a distance. Stalkers and Zealots in the front. And while GuMiho is trying his best to target fire these units down... Oh, he was move commanding so hard there. At the absolute worst possible moment, he was indecisive, man. He should have attack moved or microed backwards, but move commanding at that point was, well, immediate death. Brilliant game of StarCraft. Very good back and forth. Great strategic decisions by the both of them, right? I think GuMiho did it on purpose. I think in GuMiho's mind, There's a lot of Terran players, right, that are not really enjoying the mid to late game in the matchup right now very much. I think in GuMiho's mind, it was do or die in the mid game. So don't worry about additional upgrades. Just try to see if you can win before those upgrades are ever a necessity. Looks like we're switching things up, though, on Persephone here. Very quick SCV going across. There's no barracks on the high ground just yet. We very frequently do see proxies on this map. All right, there we go. Question always is, how much are we going to proxy? Is it just going to be Reapers? Or are we going to proxy all of the things? GuMiho is somebody who is a fan of proxying all of the things. He likes to treat the entire map as his main base. Can't really blame the man. It's a reasonable thing, right? I mean, he spawned here. The opponent is a bit of a pest. Just try to get rid of them. Kijkwijzer, in the meantime, though, is coming up for GuMiho at home, and we'll have to see how much he commits to this. It's quite common, though, for Terran players just to use this for a couple of Reapers, and that'll be about it. Hero, would you look at that? It's the first time I've seen a game of Hero on Persephone where he actually builds the pylon in the pylon indicator. Did somebody tell him, or did he just never know? Or, like, that's crazy. I wonder if moving forward, we're always going to be seeing Hero put the pylon inside of that spot. The map maker of Persephone carefully crafted that location. By the way, we have our answer. Factory on the back it is right now for Gumi. This time around, though, we do have a cyber core before the Nexus. So it's better for Hero, but it's still scoutless. So he does not know what he is playing against. It looks like we're going to be going for the Marauder version of the all-in. We'll have to see exactly what the Cyclone is going to be producing, but the idea behind it, of course, is that you get the concussive shells done nice and quickly. And Marauders can slow down all of the targets. It is Sentry first again for Hero. Man, Hero is such a greedy boy. Is he going to scout this? Well, not yet, but he will soon see that there's a whole lot of nothing inside of the main base of Protoss, or Terran rather. You will see that there's a whole lot of nothing. Hellion production has kicked in too. It all comes down to the unit micro. Yep, shield battery comes up immediately. Upon seeing the empty main and the double gas, he decides to immediately put down a shield battery on the high ground, and I think he's even considering losing the low ground altogether. GuMiho would love to have a kill on that Nexus, though, and I don't know if Hero is going to give it to him. Obviously, if you can cancel the Nexus, that would be big. Stargate follow-up right now. Stargate follow-up right now, so any Stargate unit is good in this position. Keep in mind, the Sentry can still force field as well, right? We don't really see ramps on force fields very frequently anymore in 2025, but... Oh, hallucinated Stalkers. That's another way of trying to deal with this. Run for your life, GuMiho. These are, well, fake units. Probes are pulled as well, though, to the front. He's trying to get this Terran army to retarget onto the fake troops. GuMiho, though, recognized it immediately and microed against it. Not really losing anything so far. Nice micro here by the Gumi God, but here's the problem. A Void Ray is coming up. Very common unit in Gold League, rarely seen at the highest level, but a perfect candidate in this situation. There is no Terran unit at the moment that shoots up. I mean, soon there will, I guess, be a Liberator. Congratulations with that, though. Cybercore is going to go down, and I guess there will be something here for Gumi, but GuMiho needs to get some form of anti-air out. Oh, Void Ray is thinking about going for the flank. What are we doing with the Void Ray? I think we should just go kill these units, dude. He wants to kill everything. He's not content. Yeah, he wants to get the medevac first and then kill everything else. GuMiho, okay, gets denied high ground vision. So the Marauders cannot really continue their job. And this is a little bit sad right now if you're the Terran player here, because you have nothing. Look at stutter stepping. Stutter stepping on a Void Ray is not something we commonly see. That is not done in Gold League, okay? But he got a hell of a lot of value right there. The Void Ray killed 6 units in just a matter of seconds. There were still some Hellions, though, in the far bottom right. Sentry is on the high ground, still in position. Looks like we have gotten rid of the all-army hotkey or something. I'm not exactly sure. Liberator trying his very best to get some sort of value, and you know what? I don't hate it. Viking is going to die, though. I wouldn't mind seeing a recall on the unit, but... Oh, what about the probes? What about the probes? Oh, my lord! Yeah, now you force field? Jeez Louise, he just lost 27 probes to those Hellions. The Liberator forced the army to clump up, and the Hellions killed everything. Okay, you need to go, hero. You have literally 0 workers. No workers remain. You need to win the game with the army that you've got right now. Now, he wants to prevent that Cyclone from coming out, and he will be able to achieve exactly that, but we need to go. There is no follow-up possible anymore. Not enough minerals available for Protoss to even make a single worker. So this will be do or die with the army that he's got right now. GuMiho desperately starts up missile turrets, but he lost all of his production on the other side of the map. The barracks was over there, the factory was over there. He does not even have an opportunity right now to make an orbital command. Then again, though, this is still sketchy. Do you really want to commit? He decides to tank some of the damage right there using the Phoenix. There's no blink available for this Protoss player, but he is dealing a lot of damage. That Cyclone, though, putting in a lot of work. Nice micro here as he tries to go down the ramp. Looks like he just barely went within range once more. That Void Ray is so critical. Barracks is just about to finish up, but he is starting to break through the wall off here. Is there enough for Hero to win the game with the army that he's got right now? I think it's going to be close, but I think there is enough. Yeah, he's likewise reducing the economy of GuMiho to just 0 workers. What a series. That was insanely entertaining. I still can't believe how much damage 4 Hellions managed to do. When the Void Ray is out, you would imagine the Liberator going around the site there is not worthwhile anymore, but I mean, that was a classic 1-2 punch. Despite GuMiho, though, getting rid of his opponent's economy in about 2 seconds tops, it was still not enough for him to win the game. GG's. Can we just witness this moment again? This is seconds before disaster. Liberator in the back, Void Ray in the front, Hellions around the side. Close your eyes, Protoss players. I haven't seen that in years. Absolute worst case scenario. I can't believe that happened in a modern game of StarCraft. That's insane. I love how the sentry slides down its own force field. So silly.